Hi, this is Casey McDonald. I'm 27 years old and I'm single. And this is my father, my dad. And you're how old?
Way old.
Way old.
Okay. There we go.
Okay. Try that again?
No, keep going.
Okay. And I'm still home for Thanksgiving, so we're doing a little video. Except for today is a special day because we've brought in an expert in the field of younger adults. My little sister, Heather Janine McDonald.
Say hi, Heather.
Hi, Heather. You stole my joke.
Oh, yes.
Did you do that too? Yes, I do.
Please go right ahead.
Okay, so we've got Heather here with us today, and we're going to talk about a question that somebody had sent us. That was essentially, how does I know that he likes me? How can I tell that he likes me? Heather, do you have an experience you want to share on this?
Well, first of all, story of my life, because
Really?
I don't often get asked out on dates by other people. So if I want to assume someone likes me, I have to do just that and assume
That they like you.
that they like
And
me.
then you move on that basis.
And move on that basis because no one will outrightly ask me on dates.
Are you one of those people who freaks out if you think, oh my gosh, he likes me, I'm never going to talk to him again?
No.
No?
No.
You're comfortable with everyone does it?
Apparently, a lot of girls do have that problem, though. That
Well,
they'll find
because-
out a guy likes
Oh,
me and
no,
they
definitely.
can't handle it.
This happened to one of my friends. She kind of was flirting very heavily with this boy, but she thought it was just for fun. Then he started to like her, and she freaked out, and she didn't talk to him. He took both of us on a double date with his roommate, and she just didn't talk to him the whole time. Was sending him very clear messages that we're not going to get together, and he kind of went, okay.
Messages. We're talking about messages today.
Just being sociable. Everyone thinks I'm flirting with him. I'm just being sociable with people.
I
and
think you're
finding
very
fun.
natural at it, too. We all are.
So, back to that question, how can you tell if a guy likes you?
Right. You can tell the difference by the way that they're treating you, that they're signaling you out from the rest of the people that you're with.
All right, now, is because they spend more time with you, can you tell if they like you?
Not necessarily. They could just be good friends.
Okay, no, wait. Isn't the real question you're asking, how do I know his level of interest?
Right.
It's not whether he wants to talk to you, because you know if he's going to talk to you, he'll talk to you.
Right.
But does he like me? That's the
Does
term.
he prefer me to other people is one of the things I think is
Okay.
important.
So, let me just explain something to you about the way men think.
Okay.
He doesn't know.
Oh.
I know that this just
Yeah.
drives women crazy. He doesn't know how interested he is. So every time that a girl sits down and has that let's define our relationship talk, that
Why are you looking at me?
define our community.
I did it once, mistake, we've understood, we've moved past it.
What happened?
I was hanging out with this kid for several months. He did a lot of singling me out. He would stop by my apartment all the time. I remember one time he drove up and was like, hey, let's go to a bookstore, you're having a hard day. Like, we just did very sweet things, paid
Sure.
for my dinners. Yeah, so I was getting very frustrated because it's been months and months and months and months of this.
And no, months of what?
Of this kind of flirty behavior of paying for my meals, for taking me
Okay.
out, for...
But not necessarily asking you on a date.
Yes, yeah.
Okay. And therefore, what was frustrating to you about that?
What was frustrating is I wasn't sure what was the proper response to all of this behavior, because if it had been with someone who I felt was moving in a direction of interest, I would do things differently, or I would talk to them differently. And because I wasn't sure where he was trying to end things, or where he wanted to be with me, I didn't know how to respond.
Okay. Do you believe, will you both buy the idea that there is a continuum of intimacy?
Yeah.
It
That there should be like a beginning, a middle, and an end, an arc. So
Yeah,
you know where you
an
are.
arc, if you will. Sure, there's a level. Okay, and what you're frustrated by, or what you and others want to know, is how come it doesn't appear that we're going down the pathway of intimacy? Right?
Well, that's a
Now, I'm just
special way
saying.
to put it. but
Well,
sure.
he hasn't asked me out. He hasn't tried to kiss me. He hasn't tried to hold my hand. He hasn't given me
Yes.
any physical signs, right?
Right.
And you're
Bugs the
wondering,
crap out
well,
of
how
me.
do I know what's going on? I'm going to tell you why. It's because he's looking for a signal from you to go to the next step.
Really? Okay, well...
Yes, absolutely. No, listen. A guy doesn't intuitively know his own sense of interest. He is, however, interested because he's talking to you. You have to accept that's as much as he's willing to go until he gets something that says, okay,
Keep going.
keep
I know
going.
what you mean. You mean a green light.
There has to be some kind of green light that a girl's going to give him.
Uh-huh.
Okay, well, what happens if you give a very clear green light and the progress that he's making. Is
You've got to be
First of
specific.
all, boys are dumb. And like what you think is a green light,
What?
to you, what may seem like a green light doesn't look like it to somebody else. And
Right.
depending on the level of intelligence, for example, men who have been dating for a long time are much, much better at, first of all, not needing as clear signals, but picking up on the ones that I'm given.
I'm going to tell you, men who are divorced,
Mhm.
have been married before, or men who have been in long-term relationships know those green lights much quicker than guys who have not.
Right.
So younger guys, less experienced guys, have to almost get slugged in the face
True.
and have a bloody nose to know, oh,
I'm
that's a green
in a
light.
fight.
Was that
Okay.
a hint? Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying.
Not
And-
a rude hint.
And by the way, I'm going to tell you, guys that have got sisters who've been dating people, they know because they've been around her and have had this conversation, they know to look around too. But if you don't have sisters, you don't really understand girls as well as you might assume that guys understand them. So please go ahead.
Okay. To jump on this green light thing, in this particular instance, I asked him on a date. I said, hey, I'm doing this double date with my brother. I would love for you to come with me. I think it would just be really fun to spend the evening with you. I think you'd be a great date. Okay? Didn't end up working out, but I thought that was a clear signal as to, hey, I'd be okay with dating you.
All right, I will say that's not a bad one, but let's talk about something more subtle. You know, a girl doesn't have to hold a boy's hand, but what if they're walking along and he takes his arm?
I think it's fine when there's a window of time for it. I'm fine with just a little touch, a little handbrush just to measure things, see where things are. But then you have to take the plunge, or you have to specifically decide not to. I hate being in this middle zone
All right.
for half an hour.
I have a girlfriend who is my age, and she's somewhat interested in a guy who is in his late 30s, and he doesn't have a clue how to begin. And she's getting frustrated because all the men she's ever dated have been otherwise. And she doesn't know how she feels about him. She doesn't. She thinks there's potential there. So what she has done, and by the way, I've helped him. I went to him and said, would you please get on this bandwagon before it hauls out of town? You're a great guy, and you just need some friends to say, this is an opportunity where if you ask, she's going to say yes.
Right.
And this is a signal to men, by the way, that you have to try at least a little bit and
Sure.
give her opportunity. But people are afraid. People are always scared. Women are scared to be
Right.
rejected, so they don't want to do the flirting thing. And guys are scared, they don't want to be rejected. So if you can give the guy the green light in such a way, in whatever way that is, to this guy, and you say,
Right.
listen, I'm really interested in going out with you. And so many people have a hard time with those words. I want to go out with you.
Well, and that goes back to a simple, easier date to invite someone on that is not going to mean a major commitment.
Right.
There are girls who I have taken out who, even though we've only been on one date, are already talking about the names of our future children.
This happened with
And you know, whoa, we're
this
just...
just happened with several of my friends.
Oh,
Not
jeez,
me.
I was...
Not
How
me.
old are you? Jeez.
But
But
yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
absolutely, yeah.
So she gets so excited, and it's like, well, wait a minute. You must remember this. A kiss is just a kiss, right? Let's not get carried away with the level of commitment. I just wanted you to dance. I didn't want to say we should settle down in the Hamptons.
Right.
Unfortunately, there are too few people making any kind of commitment, so anytime a guy does step forward, there are people who rashly assume what it really means.
Well, this is what I was talking about with my friend. I was saying he uses the hangout as a pre-date. So if the hangout goes well, then he'll ask him on a date. And I said that kind of attitude of like the date is the plunge is the problem. That like
Exactly.
builds up the date to mean much more than it actually is. Which the date should be the first
Step.
the first step.
But
Right.
overthinking these
Before
kinds
the
of
plunge.
things.
Right.
Does he like me? What's his level of commitment to me? And how do I determine that? How do I get more feelings from him? Some guys just don't.
I wish we had back in the olden days the steps of commitment that were a little more easily defined. And, you know, it started with the idea of I will hold her hand.
Mhm.
I will give her a pin or a piece of jewelry. That, believe it or not, that meant something. It didn't mean you were engaged. It meant, oh, I feel something for you. I'm going to give you a little gift, a little token.
Mm-hmm.
I will spend a little time and money on you.
Right.
And those kinds of things absolutely made things easier. It's this idea that you only have one level of commitment that's a problem. Don't assume that guys know, because they don't. Don't assume that they've examined their own feelings objectively, because they can't.
Mm-hmm.
And a little green light from a girl, sometimes a blaring, bright green light, is what's going to be necessary.
Without taking the decision out of his hands.
Right, exactly.
Because that will demasculate him and he'll feel like an idiot and then he's got to make a decision and he doesn't know what to do.
It's exactly right. That's right. And thank you for your contribution.
Anything else you want to say, Heather? Her
No.
number is...
No. No!
I'm really interested, so.
Please, okay. I think we're done. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Goodbye.
Your turn, Daddy.
Bye. Yeah.
Goodbye.